This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you can recognize your brilliance and change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm your host, Sharon Lynn Wyeth, creator of Namology Science and author of Know the Name, Know the Person. And in each weekly show, you'll hear the fascinating ways other people discovered the genius in them and what they were able to accomplish. At the end of each show, you'll hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. All over the world, people have many, many diverse interests. And in that vein, people have asked about different occupations and areas of life and have highly interested them. People want to know how highly successful people have managed to achieve their genius mindset by utilizing the gifts that are seen in their name, utilizing namology science. So how does someone express their creative talents, and how does someone share those gifts with others in such a way that all benefit? Our expert tonight is David Idar, who has developed his genius in the area of ancient sciences. David Idar has combined astrology, numerology, and tarot in order to assist people in their life path. Astro means heavenly or celestial. The logic means reasoning conducted according to the principles of proof and inference. Sciences is part of the name astrologic sciences, as it's a systematic knowledge of the physical or material world gained through observation and experimentation. These ancient sciences are combined to give people a thorough understanding of their life path and purpose, as well as what's coming next for them. David has been an astute student of these ancient methodologies for so many years, and is a well-respected expert in these areas. David's name indicates that he has a tendency to be a workaholic. Perhaps that's why just knowing one modality isn't enough. His name also indicates that he bases his life on his understanding of religion, and he's quite charismatic. He also is considered everyone his family, thus he wants everyone to know what he has realized. Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You radio show, David.
Hi, Sharon. How are you? What an intro.
We're all doing... We're so glad you joined us today.
I'm too. I've been looking forward to it so much. So,
I was amazed when you came to the lecture that I gave years ago now on namology science, how quickly you picked that up. Do you incorporate any of that in your astrologic sciences?
Well, let's just put it this way. You were so amazing. I was so impressed that I felt like you were hiding some sort of astrology behind this, because I was like, how'd you get that? I started to realize that a lot of the names almost line up with their astrology as well. And I found that a little, very intriguing. Let's just put it that way. It caused me to buy your book and read it page front to cover and cover to end. Let's put it that way. I find it useful, especially when I have to deal with introductions of new clients. Let's say I have to go to a holistic festival or something, and most people don't always have their birth information, such as time of birth. The name is one of the biggest clues I can use to gather accuracy for what I'm doing. There is a vibration to that name. And I've taken some of that by the fact that, I explained this to people by having them put their I know this is crazy, put your hand over your mouth, and say your name. and see how it feels against the palm of your hand. Then do that and say your significant other's name and what that feels like. There is a vibration that is carried in names, and it had never occurred to me to look at numerology science to the degree that you've taken me into that subject to put it together. There's a couple of names out there that, I always tell my friends, we want you to meet so-and-so, and they give out the name, and I don't even know their birth information. No, I'm like, no, I'm good. Well, we can pass that one up. Because what I had learned from what I got from your book, it just kind of told me, be careful what you ask for. Some names are charged with either a lot of joy, a lot of light, a lot of love, or a lot of heaviness, a lot of depression, a lot of two-facedness, I guess is the best way I could put that, where they present one face, but that is not the person you're dealing with. Now, I'm not going to name those names here because we don't know who's listening, but I loved the book. I was so impressed, so very impressed.
Well, I was so amazed at how quickly you caught it all on, and I'm so glad it's been able to assist you. We need to take a break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which can be heard on knowthename.com. After the break, you're going to find out how David looks at astrology, numerology, and tarot much differently than other astrologers do. It's really amazing to see how he puts together and combines all of these. And for you that want to go to his website, it's www.astrologicsciences.com, and that is spelled ASTROLOGIC, sciences.com.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Our guest tonight is David Idar, whose website is astrologicsciences.com. David, please let us know how you got interested in astrology and then numerology and then tarot, and which one came first, and how did you start?
Wow. Good question. That's a lot. I get asked that a lot, quite frankly. 21 years ago, I'm a product of the 80s and the 90s. And let's just start with the 80s. They were kind of wild times, so to say. So wild to the degree that, I decided that if I didn't get a handle on one of my personal addictions, which happened to be alcohol at the time, that, the life I always dreamed of was not going to become real. And so much so to the fact, I'm adopted. And I wasn't like the family I was raised by, it's a fantastic family and very religious family as well. But, I noticed that I tend to have had a very high alcohol tolerance, which I realized, wasn't healthy. And I had a real healthy respect for the law that I never wanted to be introduced to local or regional law enforcement agencies because of this drinking that I was doing. So I took myself to an AA meeting and had exercised the format that they have there, and I'm supposed to maintain this anonymity, so I guess I can leave some of the details, other than the fact that I think the whole world knows what AA is all about. And I got sober. Within the first year, I had the focus to start looking for answers in regards to myself, because I got sober at a young age, and a good age. Let's just put it that way. I didn't need any more proof that I had an issue, and I was, I had a really good friend to kind of point out some of my shortcomings in my behavior patterns that, kind of led me down this path that I have absolutely no regrets 21 years later. In the process, I started being asked to assist others in their, journey through sobriety. And there was a time where me and one of my other friends in the program, who also had the same name, David, we were getting a little competitive with working with others on their sobriety and who could, do the best job, which you don't do that in a program. Number one, that's just we were just trying. Yeah, the ego obviously got a hold of us to see how many people we could help and be of service to and to get them through the steps. Well, my buddy and I had both had a newcomer each come in around the same time, and we'd see him at meetings and we'd work with them. And the guy he was assisting ended up committing suicide on his watch, and it threw him over the edge because then he started feeling responsible. That's why I say don't ever do that. Out of the sheer fact that it was what it was, and this person that had come to him had deeper issues than he realized, and we can only work with what they tell us. Well, that's when I was like, I like helping people and I want to be of service, but I need more information other than what they're telling me, because literally some of these people's lives are in our hands, whether we realize it or not. And of course, with a name like David and then the astrology chart that I possess, a little anal about, more data and more information, led me, to my first science, which was numerology. And, got a hold of a few books. I always use the power of three. I need 3 reference points. And, if I'm gathering the same information from all 3, or everyone's saying the same thing, they might say it in 3 different ways or using 3 different types of metaphors, I know that there's going to be some truth to that particular part of the information that I'm receiving. And I started using numbers because there was only 1 through 9 you needed to learn, and then there's 3 master numbers. Some other numerologists say 4, and those master numbers are the 11s, the 22s, and the 33s. And it was basically the basics in numerology on someone's life path, which even what was written in numerology gave some very good, strong general science about the personality type. And then one of my cousins had a coffee book on her table that was a big book that was on birthdays, and it was a general text, but a big book sitting there. And I flipped it over to my birthday and I went, oh, Lord, they really nailed this, in the fact that I'm looking at some generalities in regards to a birth date. And that's how I got hooked on the second science, which happened within the 6-month period afterwards. And so the combination of the numerology and the astrology set me off there. And I noticed that I had much more of a rapport and an ability, to ask pertinent questions that regarded, someone's situation. And from the general statistics that I was getting from one of my birthday books that was in regard to astrology, I had much more detail. And I could find out, where the real problems lie and assist the people that asked me to be their sponsor in the program. At that point, in the meetings that I went to, I had anywhere from 15 to 40 people, on a daily basis sitting in a room, and I knew everybody's birthday, and now, it got to a point, I know this sounds crazy, but it got to a point that I saw them as stars and numbers versus their name, and I was watching it play out live in front of me whenever they would share. And I started to get, really intrigued by the accuracy of personality types, that then I went ahead and got me a software program and knowledge into, actually reading, because You know my full name, dear, and you met me when I was still using my full name in everything that I did. And I couldn't get my nose out of the books because at this point, my sobriety program was a success. And it was obvious in my work. It was obvious in my personal relationships. But more than anything else, the fun I was having with people that allowed me to really enjoy myself. So numerologically, my life path is at 3. And anybody that learns numerology knows, that's kind of like the party number, I guess, the real social, let's have a good time and enjoy ourselves kind of number. And the other aspect is that I like seeing something prove itself. With the program that I was working in, or the program I was working spiritually, I've come from a very strong Christian fundamentalist family and a strong fundamentalist raising. There was, I can't look at my parents and say that the issues that got formatted were because of my home life. There was no drinking at home, and my parents, really, really loving in regards to how they treated me and their natural-born other 2 children. So I found it odd that, that all 3 of their children, the adopted one and the 2 others, all had heavy addiction problems, which, when I got a hold of the astrology, I understood, but back then it didn't make any sense to me how a family who really laid down the rules of good nurturing and really watching their words, never utilizing words that were harsh or judgmental, like, oh, you're so stupid for doing this, or you're such an idiot for doing that. Those kind of words leave imprints on people. And my parents didn't do that to any of us. So, there's these addiction issues that we suffer for. Yeah, maybe we could call it the 80s or the late 70s, transpiring into the 90s. But, me just being the oddball of the bunch and living through, the fact that I was very separate in regards to the way my brother and sister operated with me, which I was taking real personally, thinking, they just always go together. In other words, once my parents adopted me, my mother got pregnant immediately. And they say this is real common because the woman's stress levels are gone. And then all of a sudden she's able to have children again. I come to find out it was all based on astrology. And that was the turning. Yeah, that's the crazy part. That's the best part, is that because their astrology lined up so closely with that of the combination of their natural born parents, that it made sense. Prior to that, I was taking, I'm so glad I learned astrology because I used to take everything personally. I had a sensitivity about myself that was tied to the way I'm made, And then Tarot came after I had to go, and I say it on purpose, had to go pro and do this for a living after 2008 when we had the big, Goldman Sachs, Lehman Brothers crash. The corporate world that I lived in, that I was very successful in, took a downfall with financing, and finding work and competing with so many other people out of work made it very, very difficult to find employment. So one of my friends just kept saying,
So we all got lucky because all that happened, so that you really went into this. We need to take another break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. This show is dedicated to the ancient sciences. After the break, we'll find out about some of the different ways that David has assisted people. His website, again, is astrologersciences.com. There's a famous quote by J.P. Morgan that says, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. And so, when we look at that, that's J.P. Morgan really telling us that astrology is highly important, and that the timing in astrology is very important because all days aren't really created equally. So we'll find out more about that after our next break.
Dreams are our personal gateways into infinite wisdom. Don't miss shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Corcoran's inspiring book, Shamanic Awakening Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles Sandra's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers and her initiations throughout the Americas and across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt. Sandy's knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private tarot readings, international journeys, a meditative CD, as well as her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate this earth walk, creating a deeper connection to yourself and all that is. Find this and more at Sandy's website, starwalkervisions.com.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Numerology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created numerology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is David Idar, who can be reached versus his website at astrologicsciences.com. David, would you mind giving our listeners something that each one of them can use according to their sun sign, like perhaps where's their area of greatest growth for this summer, or something that would be personal to their sun sign?
Oh, absolutely. But this is what I can do to make it a little bit more worthwhile, that, if they want to take notes or something, they can look at this beginning on the next new moon, because it can kind of, when you're interviewing astrologers, let's put it that way, and most people say astrologist. I always freak out when they do that. When you're interviewing an astrologer, it's always good to do the following month out, because there are so many websites out there to gather information that, it's better to do something that's coming versus something that already is, because there's numerous websites people can go and check. So what I will do is talk about what's coming when we hit this next new moon on the 23rd, Friday, around 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, which would probably be 8:30 your time, if I'm not mistaken, because you're on Eastern Time. Am I correct, Sharon?
Yes, we are. Over here.
Awesome. Well, this next new moon is going to bring for Aries, and I'll begin with Aries, some interesting things revolving around their home and family. They're still experiencing a need to connect more closely with their family. They are either planning things that involve their siblings or their children or personal friends. They're going to want to do some entertaining at home. These are the things that are actually helping them to decompress. They seem to be having a lot of stress at work, and a lot of it is due to their lack of patience. Aries is a very fiery, energetic sign, a very me-oriented type sun sign. They're action-oriented, but they're in a place where we've hit a summer period that has put a lot of their work issues on a slower note than they like. And because they have some transits going on in their 10th house with a planet called Pluto sitting up there, they probably would do best being patient and watching their temper as well as their words, and trust that everything is working out in their favor. It's just not working out the way they like it to. So that's what's going on with
wonderful for Aries. Okay, the next sign.
How so? Is that good? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
But we've got to keep them kind of brief or we won't get through all 12 signs.
Well, you tell me how much time I have, love, and I'll tell you what I can do, because I have no clue right here what timing we have. How much time do you want me on the next one? How much?
About 1 minute to 1.5 minutes for each sign. We're good.
Got it. 1 minute to 1.5. And of course, my clock is behind me. So, Taurus. We'll look at Taurus and what they're going through. Taurus is dealing with a lot of work issues right now. And they're also having to learn new ways of doing things. Their old mode of behavior, that Taurus can be a bit of a stubborn sign to get things done, is a struggle. They might be struggling to make a vacation happen, which would be very, very much in their favor. But again, that's about getting somebody else to join them on a vacation to make it fun. They seem to be glad when they get home these days. But Taurus is learning new ways of doing things psychologically. And it's a little tough for them because they have to let go of some old belief systems. And if they can do that, they're going to do fine. Venus happens to be in their first house right now for Taurus itself. So they are doing a little bit of indulging, that's for sure. We'll get over to Gemini. This sign has had a really, really tough time, and they've had a tough time for the last 2 years. They have an opposition by Saturn that is challenging the way they do things in regards to how it affects everyone else. they're doing a lot of ducking and hiding or looking for the path of least resistance. If they're going down this road, this is not in their favor whatsoever. They might be a little given to self-indulgences this month. They're finding one of the planets assisting them and making them a little distracted, I guess is the best way to say it, where fun, entertainment, excitement, just going out and doing something that isn't as serious is kind of going to be their style. They should do well for the most part, but they're going to do really well if they can stay focused on work. They will meet their goals if they can hold their focus there and walk away with the award, since half the people at work are on vacation anyway. We look at Cancer, and this is where that new moon is going to fall. Was that good? I actually...
Yeah, that was good. Nice short. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to keep them at a minute, love, so that you can have fun with this one. We're moving to Cancer, and this is where the new moon is laying its focus, because this new moon is going to be in the sun sign Cancer. And the new moon, for those of you who don't know, is when there is no light of the moon showing up, which is always the best time to start or initiate things. Cancer has a lot of time to focus on themselves, but they need to be aware that their emotional nature is at its highest point. They are really emotional at this time. And they seem to be taking that out on their relationship partner. So if they can count to 10 and not take whatever's going on with their partner, take the focus off their partner and focus on themselves, and find a way to release that energy, hopefully through yoga or some form of exercise, or clean the damn house. God knows that, sometimes they get overwhelmed that they lose sight of everything that they do well at. They'd be great. But those are the ones that hopefully can know that for those next 28 days after the 23rd, to just be nice to their partners, because it's not their partner's fault. It's really their fault. Their emotions are on high. Leos. This is going to be a tough one, because Leos are going through a bit of frustration period right now. Leos love the drama of life and love living large. If you want a good way to understand Leos, think of royal families. If you watch any TV shows, think of The Crown or Reign or Versailles, and you're looking at Leo living out large. Right now they have the planets moving into a placement of frustration and hidden tension. Their best bet, if you can get them moving, is to get them to kind of commit themselves to some sort of exercise plan, if at all possible, because that's going to be the best way that they can release energy. Work is going well despite all of the craziness. The things that don't follow plan happen. They're going to be fine, but they're going to have a tough time until the next new moon that actually is in Leo, and then everything returns back to normal for those guys. Virgos. Okay. So Virgos, they're just planning vacations if they can. Virgo is looking for a way to get away. So this new moon is going to give them an opportunity to do that. And if they can get away with friends and groups, or get away with hanging out with their friends or groups or their networks, they're going to have a blast. Okay. But if they can't get away, find some sort of seminar or education program that you can be a part of, that other people in your life can participate in. You'll have a really, really good time. Money is flowing Virgo's way. So, we got Jupiter in their second house. This is really helping Virgo out to really do something that serves them. This gives them a chance to ground and let go of all of their fear, worry, and anxiety, and just, give themselves a little slack and have some fun. Now, I know we're getting to a real important one here, because this one's Libra, and I don't know who I'm talking to on this phone, but I have a funny feeling that Libra might be important here. Now, for people that understand Libra, Libra is ruled by Venus, so it is the prettiest sign in the zodiac, so here comes all the sugar, because she was nice enough to ask me to come on her show today. But, dear Libra, you're entering into a period of high work activity. okay? This new moon is hitting your 10th house of career, self-mastery, and personal achievement. And you are the luckiest sign in the zodiac for the whole year because Jupiter is hanging out in your first house and part of fortune is sitting right above it. So fortunately, I think this program you're doing tonight and the rest of them you do for the next 4 weeks, sweetheart, are really going to light up your career, okay? Because you're having excellent success at accessing the kind of people or the kind of speakers with the kind of knowledge that actually interest your audience. You have a North Node life destiny playing out in long-term futures that's very much in your favor. Now, you're going through some home issues because Pluto's in your 4th house of home and family. So, you're looking either for a new place to live or buying some new land and moving from where you're at. Libras are going to have a lot of focus about, making some sort of big move in regards to their home and where they live. But right now the focus has to be on their work, and if they can combine the two, it's going to work in their favor. Venus, your ruling planet, is sitting in your 8th house of other people's money. It's the house that Scorpio rules, and Scorpio rules sex, death, taxes, and other people's money. And having, Venus sit in that sign for Libra and Jupiter in their 1st house, y'all are really, the belle of the ball for this next new moon. And so utilize that in your favor because it is very, very much there to help you. People have a hard time saying no. Just make sure that you're, pretty accurate about the details. We have Saturn in the 3rd house, but Saturn loves Libra. And when you're dealing with someone like me who happens to be a Capricorn ruled by Saturn, it was real funny how we just can't say no to you. It's crazy how that works. So you are the belle of the ball. Let's get to Scorpios, okay? So we know that Virgo wanted to go out and travel and have a good time and get away on a vacation. If not, Scorpios in the same mode. Scorpios are dealing with the way they see their lives. They're learning how to re-navigate their everyday mundane world, okay? It's their ruling planet happens to be Pluto. It's sitting in their 3rd house. They have an opportunity to do things differently now that planet is in a particular motion that we call retrograde. It allows them to rethink a previous plan and maybe say it in a softer, nicer way. Scorpio is the planet that loves power. Libra loves beauty. Scorpio loves power. They're always struggling with the love of power or the power of love. And if they can just stick to the power of love, they're going to get through this month pretty easily. The sun is going to be triangulating them, making them a little bit more emotional. But if they can get away on a trip like Virgos or join the Virgos on a trip, they're going to do great. If not, a little seminar or education is going to help them. They have an opportunity to actually meet somebody that they might even find worthwhile if they're single. So Scorpios have that going for them right now. They don't think things are working out in their favor. But as I told you, Jupiter, taking care of Libra this year, moves into Scorpio.
We need to take our last break, so we'll continue after that. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You on xzbn.net and knowthename.com.
Phew!
Are you curious? Do you want to learn more about how the world works and have fun at the same time? Study coincidences with me, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on my Connecting with Coincidence radio show here on the XZBN network. Listen to Jungians theorize, statisticians randomize, true believers evangelize, while I categorize. I dance to the rhythm of coincidences. People who experience me see more of them. Maybe something on the show matches a thought in your mind. Let us know. Expand your mind to the weirdness happening around you. Synchronicity spoken here, there, and everywhere. For more information, put Connecting with Coincidence in your search engine and find my website, my social media sites, and my blog.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A Soul Balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the 4 corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. Our guest tonight is David Idar, whose website is astrologicsciences.com. He's taken his skills to a level where he's able to do so much to help other people and from so many different modalities and so many different insights, which is just incredible. So we want to hear about those last 4 signs, David. Please continue. You were just leaving off with Scorpio and finishing that one up.
Awesome. I'm really glad I had that opportunity. We'll get right to it. I hope I haven't gone too fast for everybody, but we will get to Sagittarius. Okay. Sagittarius currently is having the roughest time of all the signs this year because they've got, the teacher Saturn, which that planet's all about our reality, what goes on in our world, the things that happen in real time. And Saturn happens to be really working on their structures, on the way they perceive their own lives, their work lives, their personal lives, and putting all that together in a structure that actually works for them so that they're not running around, like a bull in a china shop, quite frankly. So we got to cut them a break because they're having to work really, really hard when this next new moon hits. This moon is going to revolve around things that do carry the tone of money and finance, as well as the possibility of just bonding with others. Their work has had them a little overly focused, and these are the people that will hang out during the summertime while everybody else is on vacation. We look at Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and quite frankly, Pisces. All of us are going to be in the situation where we hold the fort down while people go on vacation, because we prefer taking our vacations either in the fall or in the spring. So they're going to be working their butts off, and they got a lot of details to handle. Hopefully they can get that done. I don't see anything fun happening when it comes to romance, but they will get a lot of benefit and a lot of satisfaction from their work, as well as savings and plannings and investments working out for them throughout the rest of this summer into October, where they should be happy with some of the investments they make right now. Now we're going to deal with Capricorn. Capricorn is probably, with this new moon, is going to have the toughest time. This is what we would call a zodiac sign that is on the dark side of their sun. It's the complete opposite side of their placement in the chart. And so they're going to be struggling with energy, having motivation and desire to get things done. And they got to get things done, because Capricorn is the worker. Always, keeping the structures of work and commitment and duty and tradition alive. They know they got a lot of planning that they need to do. Their partners are probably in a position that they need to be very in tune with their partners right now, because this is where they feel the relief that they need. So they're going to have to rely on their relationships, whether they be friends or lovers or marriage partners, and rely on them, because they're not at their best, and they shouldn't take their inventory of what's going on in their lives too personally right now. If they look back over their lives, every time around this year, they always seem to, feel tired or overwhelmed, or they start gaining weight, and they're not living up to all of their to-do lists that they put together of getting things done, and not everybody's on the same page as they are. But fortunately, they got a lot of help with their work right now. Work seems to be stellar for them, and that's going to be the bright spot of their lives. They just got to get through these few days, and they'll be fine once it hits the opposite side of their birthday. We get over to Aquarius, and Aquarius has got some interesting things going on in their lives right now. They're planning new routines for their diet, their exercise, their health. They're looking at all of their health issues right now. And also the way that they do their work, how they get to work, maybe finding a different route to getting to work so they can actually be on time, because they're finding themselves running late on everything. So hopefully if Aquarius can organize that aspect, because, Aquarians always eat on the run, quite frankly, they really should use this new moon to put in an exercise program that helps them get grounded. They live in their heads a lot, and they get scattered very, very easily. This is a good time to look at the things that can ground them and improve their diets, as well as maybe take up yoga or a light exercise routine, even if it requires just walk around the block. It will really help you during this time. And last but not least, we get over to Pisces. Pisces is in need of a lot of fun right now. This would be a good time for Pisces to not turn down any party invitations. Of course, we're talking from the 23rd, and this will carry us until about the 20th, the 19th or 20th of July. They need to get out, and if they can get out to the water, more so to them. Remember, when Pisces feels overwhelmed, they need to remind themselves, go wash your face, go wet yourself, and clear yourself, because Pisces is that one sign that absorbs negative energy and turns it into positive energy. And during a summertime period like this, if they're not close to a water source, they don't realize how many people they're filtering and cleansing without even realize or being asked for permission to do so. And they get tired real easily. So if they can get to a swimming pool, a river, a stream, or an ocean, they're going to do fine. They need to get out and have some fun. This new moon is definitely in their favor. So that covers it, Sharon. I hope I kept that short, sweet, and to the point.
Yes,
I did.
Thank you so much. Now I want to know, you have stressed that the sun sign, the moon sign, and the ascendant are the most important out of all of them. Would you tell us why and what each one stands for?
When you can have, an astrologer always needs to know your exact birth time. When you can give that exact birth time, it shows which constellation was on the horizon when they were born. We have 12 zodiac signs, which allows us 12 houses where those planets will fall according to a birth time. That rising sign is actually the mask you put out to the world. You can be a Libra, but somebody might say, man, I pictured you for a Scorpio. You're so darn powerful. You're able, to get so many things done. You're the CEO of this company. How do you do it, And that could be reminiscent of the way they're perceived with a Scorpio rising, even though they're a Libra who knows how to find balance within power. You see how that works? And the moon sign is who you are emotionally. So knowing that birth time and that birth city helps us calculate the longitude and the latitude of the birth chart. It allows us to really get accurate information of what you look like. What the to me as an astrologer, other astrologers will laugh at me, but everything I just read to you all about what's coming in the new moon is not written. All I'm doing is I'm looking at an astrological wheel filled with hieroglyphs that represent the planets and some asteroids and and moon and the sun in there, and those things speak to me. So it's like a doctor holding up an X-ray, and we're in triage, and I have to make a quick assessment about what's coming and what's going on, and that's how I did it. And that when you can give me that birth time and that birth city, I can more accurately see how everything connects in your world and what you're going through and what you're experiencing at the moment. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm talking a mile a minute.
I think it's wonderful. Are you working on anything new lately? Anything that you'd like to share?
I am working on the asteroid goddesses. There's 4 of them, and this is all about the femininity returning into our collective consciousness. Last month, I taught on Ceres and Vesta, and this coming month, I'll be teaching on Pallas Athene and Juno. Pallas Athene is the goddess of wisdom or war, and when we look at Juno, she was, Zeus's wife in the myth. She represents all of our sacred relationships. Why we marry certain people, what traits we're looking for. They tend to play out as character traits when I'm looking at an astrology chart. They also do play out in some of the transits when we find ourselves in conflict with certain issues or certain policies. These asteroid goddesses help us understand why we may feel so strongly, let's say, in regards to who's running the country right now. A lot of the placements of Vesta series and yeah.
On that note, we're going to conclude. I want to thank you for joining us tonight, David. It has just been a joy. Be prepared and surprised and pleased if you get to experience David Idar's work. Again, his website is astrologicsciences.com. David excels at taking complicated ideas, combining them, and then presenting them in an understandable way. This is found in his first vowel of his first name being an A. If your first vowel in your first name is an A, you have this ability also. Do you want to know where your genius lies? I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, host of the radio show, Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which can be heard every weekday at various hours right here on xzbn.net radio and X-Zone radio station and on knowthename.com. Tune in to hear the fascinating ways other people discovered the genius in them and what they were able to accomplish. In each upcoming show, you'll hear clues on how you can recognize your own innate genius. For all the days and times of Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, please go to xzbn.net and check out our broadcast schedule. If you wish to know how to read a person's name or more about your own name and how you can discover your own innate genius, Go to the website, knowthename.com, and give yourself the gift of a session to find out what your name says about you and how knowing your name and what it means can help you to live to your best and highest. This is Sharon Lynn Wyeth signing off.